Welcome back, everybody, to the Meeple Marathon, and today we're going to be looking at another real-time game. This is Flatline from the creators of Fuse. So it is a similar game. It's a dice rolling, real-time, basically cover up the slots as quickly as you can style game. There is a timer that Renegade has provided. The timer, or the app, also acts as essentially a reminder of the steps that you need to take. Normally you would have the first player or chief medical officer would have this board that reminds you of the steps you go through. Here's the 1 minute timer. So you could just use your phone. You don't need to download the app. But essentially, we're going to have 1 minute to roll out our dice and place them out. Similar to Fuse, we're only going to get to roll them once unless we can spend certain options or gain certain powers to re-roll. And we'll talk about those more in a second. But to win the game, we are going to need to cover up all of these spots. These boards here represent patients. If you can kind of, if you look at the picture, you can see that the patients, you're on this spaceship. So this is kind of a futuristic medical bay. And the patients are in here and they require these actions in order to cure them and move them on their way. And so we're playing on essentially a two-player game. You can play solo, but you really are just playing two-handed. You will need to cover up each one of these slots in order to get this off the board. We have 2 more off to the side. So essentially I need to cure 6 patients and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rounds to do it. If we have to remove this 8th cube, we lose the game, and you pull off one of these cubes at the beginning of every round. There are ways to add cubes back into your tray here. For example, completing these bays up here, covering up these slots, will give you a one-time cube to put back into the slot. When you're playing with just 1 or 2 players, you only have to fill this top row with dice. Similar to Fuse, you're basically going to have to, not similar to Fuse, you're going to have to cover up everything in one of these rows in one turn. If you don't, your dice are just going to come back and there was a wasted effort. Also, once you place a die down and let go of it, it is locked into place. I cannot say play a die here and then try and roll for green and realize that I'm not going to get it and be like, ooh, I'd rather move them over here or something like that. No, once you place a die, it is locked in. So that's a very brief overview of the game. Let's talk briefly about setup here. Setup's very simple. The board is this, it comes in 4 pieces, and you can see here that it fits together. And then there's this center dial that snaps in. You can see where it snaps in there into the center. And so this turns throughout the game, and it does matter where this arrow is pointing, because you can see that each one of these subsequent, whatever you want to call them, lines, is pointing to a specific area of these patient boards. When you complete a patient, you're going to get or have to suffer the bonuses or penalties based on where these things line up here. And each game you're going to turn between each round, you're going to turn this dial so it's pointing at the first slot of the next patient, continuing to turn clockwise. So that will change which one of these. You can see I started here, then the next round it was pointing here, now it's pointing here. So I probably don't want to complete this patient this round because I'm going to get a negative penalty from it. You can see the negatives are in red and the positives are in green. So you put the board together, you will randomly select, there's a whole stack of these tiles in the box. You will randomly select the number based on your player count and the difficulty level. So I'm playing on 1 to 2 players and I'm playing on easy. I think you could jump all the way up to 8 or 10, but the thing is, you're really not changing the number of rounds. So you really have to be on your game, and this game is hard enough just playing on easy. You will find the little board here, which comes off based on your player count. You can see this is for 1 or 2 players, and you will decide whether you want to play on standard mode or hard mode. The only difference is these numbers down underneath are going to be higher on the hard mode. Now, what these numbers represent are the amount of event cards, which is this stack up here, that you're going to draw and add onto the board in between rounds. Event cards represent things that you have to address. Some of them you have to address immediately. Others you can ignore, but it'll make your life more difficult as the game goes on. Basically, cards you have to place dice on that keep you from placing dice on your patients. But that's pretty much it. So you'll fill up each one of these slots with one of these green cubes. You'll put a green cube here and here because these are one-time use areas. Once I've filled up this top row and gained this cube to put back in here, this is no longer useful in the game. Same thing over here. You'll set out these 2 dice off to the side. I'll talk about them in a second. And you'll get the colored die based upon how many players you have. There are different colored dice. And so I've chosen these 2 colors simply because they kind of contrast each other and it's easy to tell them apart. And you will give each player their dice. If you are playing the non-solo mode, you will actually only start with 6 dice and you'll set 2 off to the side. You may have an opportunity to gain those in the future. Since I'm playing in solo mode, I get 7 of each color, and I've only set 1 off to the side of each color. I may get to gain these for a round. You know, say for example, this one here, everybody at the table gets to add 1 dice to their next round. So that's when opportunities would come in to add the dice. And that's pretty much the setup. The setup is very quick, very easy, very straightforward. So to play the game, if you can see the app over here, the first thing we're going to do is remove a cube. One of these green cubes, one of these power cubes. This represents the power of the ship. We have to, this is like a medical ship. We have to heal everybody and get them off the ship before it blows up in space. So now that we've removed it, we look at the number underneath the space we just removed, and this is going to say 5 for right now. So we need to take 5 event cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're going to add these out to the board. Now, which area we add them to does make a difference. If the card is got a blue banner on it, it's going to be added up here into this area, and we're going to add them from 1 over to 6. And if we fill up the first row, we'll add a second row. So there could be 12 total blue cards up there. The blue cards represent things that events that may make our lives difficult during the next round, but they don't represent end game, game losing situations. Orange banners, however, are called stat cards. They have to be addressed immediately that very next turn. If not, they're going to go, and you can't quite see it. I couldn't quite fit it on camera, but there's this area on the bottom of the board that's in red. If a stat card is not addressed, the card is flipped over like this and slotted into, one of 4 slots on the bottom here. If I fill up that 4th slot, I lose the game. So if I ignore stat cards, I will eventually lose the game. If you're playing with 3 to 5 players, you actually only get 3 slots to fill up. So I'm going to flip these over one at a time because the position that they go in does matter. So here is a orange slot. So you can see that it's going to go over here in a second. What I'm going to need to do this is each player at the table would have to put down a die, and it would have to be a matching die. So for me, I'm going to have to put a gray and a purple die that have the same symbol on it onto this card to complete this stat card. Now, you can see that there's some text at the top, and there's this little green banner. If I am able to complete the stat card within the round so that it doesn't harm me, I actually get this benefit. It's going to go over here to this green side. And this is a one-time use benefit where it says all players can change 1 die to any side. So this is like a dice manipulation bonus that I'm going to get for addressing the stat card. So I really like that aspect of the game, is that these stat cards not only are something that you have to take care of or else you will lose the game, but taking care of them also gives you a bonus. Now, I could ignore up to 3 of them, but there are some that I may not want to ignore, even if I have this space in my loss column here, because they will give me a really nice bonus. So let's look at the next card. All right, so this next card is blue, so it's going to go up there in that number 1 slot. You can see that I need to put 2 dice. There's an equal symbol in between. So these 2 dice are going to have to be the same, but they can be from the same person. They can be from the same color. Now, these blue ones, if I complete them, they're just discarded. But if this card is activated, I'm going to have to add 2 cards to the blue row. So that is the negative aspect or negative event of the blue card. All right, so let's take a look at the next card. It's another blue one. So here I'm going to have to put an orange symbol, yellow symbol, pink symbol. If this card is activated, I have to move the leftmost cube from the power meter to one of the recharging stations. So I would actually pull this off here and I'd have to earn it back. So I'm essentially losing a turn in the entire game, a whole round, and I'm going to have to earn it back by completing a power station move. If this card were to activate at the end of the game and I only have my last cube here, then I would lose. All right, another blue card. This one would say move a green card, so a bonus card that I have acquired by completing a stat card. I would have to move one of my bonuses to the stat section. So essentially it's going back over here. I've completed the stat card, I'm gaining the bonus, but I have to kick it back over here. If for some reason this card activates and I have no cards over here in the bonus area, it just is ignored. And the last card here is another orange one. So this one simply says I can put any 3 dice. It doesn't matter. 1, 2, 3 dice. Just slap 3 dice on there. This is a good one to take care of at the end of the game when I've got 3 dice that don't really fit anywhere else. Just throw them on this card. This one will allow me to remove or discard any card from this row without having to put the dice on it. So again, it's a bonus. And so for my first round, I'm going to be focusing on taking care of these 2 cards and then probably filling in as much people as possible. And then whatever dice I have left over, I will look to address those blue cards. So the next step in setup, well, we actually took care of it in 2. You can see that you look at the number that is just below where you remove the cube and you add the number of cards there. This next one is roll the emergency dice, which are these 2 white dice that are very different from anything else. And so we're just going to go ahead and roll these in. And you can see, unfortunately, not a very good roll for me because these dice represent the cards. And so that's why I said it matters when you pull the cards out and which slot you put them in. You can't just throw them over there willy-nilly. If I had rolled a 5 or a 6 or 4, nothing would have happened. But instead, I'm going to have to activate this number 1 card and this number 2 card. So, and you always start from left to right because you can see that number 1 here is going to add 2 cards to the blue area. So what we're going to do here is there's this card. So if you ever draw an orange card in this situation, it's telling you to add blue cards. This card's actually just removed from the game. It's 1 less stat card I have to deal with, but it's also 1 less bonus I can gain. There's another orange card. Another orange card. Man, it was going to be a rough round next time. Okay, so this one is simply added. You can see here that I have to use 2 greens to complete this one, but if this one is ever activated, there are these tiles that I have off to the side that if I complete, say I put 2 blue dice down here in a round, I will cover up that area so I know that that thing is complete. That portion of the patient is complete. This symbol means I have to remove one of these tiles, and it's my choice. If for some reason I don't have any progress on any patients, then again, this one would be ignored. All right, another orange one. Man, orange. I'm not going to have any oranges left. All right, last blue one. This one says place a lockdown tile on the recharging stations. So that would mean I would take one of these tokens over here and I would place it, say, here, for example. That means this recharging station is not available for me to attempt. This one is, but this one is not. Sometimes it tells you that you have to put the lockdown token on the recharging station or on this green area. Putting it on this green area means any cards in here are not available for you to use during the round. This is a reroll station. So at any point in time, one person can give up a die over here to the reroll station. Then any one player, so even as my single player, I have to choose whether I'm going to roll purple dice or gray dice. Any one player may re-roll any number of their dice that they choose. So I could put one die over there and I could pick up all the purples and re-roll them. Or say my purple guy has put all these dice out and he's really only got 2 left and he can't put them anywhere. He says, okay, here. And the gray guy still has all his dice because they're worthless. The gray guy can re-roll all of his dice. If you are playing a 5-player game, you can only do this 3 times. 4-player game here, but in a 1 to 3 player game, I can fill up each one of these slots and re-roll that many times. But if this token is there, then I cannot do any re-rolling. So we've activated this card, then we're going to activate that card. The reason going in order matters is because if I had rolled, say, a 5, at first there would have not been a card there. It would have been empty. But in activating number 1, I put a card there. Now there's a card I have to activate. But instead we're going to go back over here to 2. I need to remove the leftmost cube, and it doesn't really matter. We're just going to put it here. So now this recharging station has the ability to gain 2 cubes from. Now if I fill 1, 2, 3 slots, I'm only going to get 1 of these. But it just means that this recharging station, again, later down the road, will give me the ability to gain that back. A little bit of strategy in advance of me getting into the game is that you can see that these numbers kind of go down and then they go back up and then they go back down again. The best time to go after, in my opinion, these recharging stations is right here at this round. When you remove this cube, which for us will be the next round, you're only drawing 2 cards. If then I complete a recharging station, I will get to put this cube back in, and the beginning of the next round will only draw 2 cards. So if I can keep picking up these cubes to keep putting back in here, I will have several rounds in a row where I'm only adding 2 cards to the board instead of 5, 4, or 3. So this is the best time to go after the recharging stations, when you've just pulled this cube here. So that's a little bit of strategy. All right, the next phase here is to discuss among yourselves. Plan. Obviously, it's just me right now, but this would be the opportunity that you may take all the time you want. This is an untimed phase to discuss who's going to go after what the main focus is going to be. Obviously, in talking to myself, I've already decided that these 2 cards here are my primary concern. Then I may try and go after a recharging station, maybe not. But then picking, looking around briefly and seeing which one of these bays I can even just get started. Now, I will probably not complete an entire patient this round. You can see that this one has 4 slots, but all blues. This one only has 3 slots, but there's a lot of dice I have to put down. Then the next stage is to start the countdown. So I've done 1, 2, 3, 4. If I start that, the minute timer starts. The lady talks in the background, making me nervous, and I go. I roll out my dice, and I have 1 minute to put them out. Now, there are a few rules as to how you put down your dice. And let's look at, we'll just look at this one, for example. All right, you can see that this symbol here represents a single person. That means one single person needs to fill up these 2 blue slots. So these 2 slots have to be filled up for me with the same color dice. Then a different single person is going to need to fill up this one. So if I filled these up with gray dice, this one has to be filled up with pink. This one here, it doesn't matter. This symbol means any number of people can contribute to this section. It doesn't matter. This one here just means a single person needs to fill these in. And sometimes this single person one is quite large. For example, here, you can see that this single person needs to put down 3 dice here. Anybody can contribute here, here, single person, single person. There are also, and we don't have any of those out right now, but you will sometimes see a symbol like this, which means each person at the table needs to contribute 1 die. And usually if it's on a player board, it's going to tell you which color die you're going to need to put down. You'll see these symbols a lot on the cards. So this means everybody at the player has to contribute. For me, that's just going to be 2 dice, but 1 of each color. So that's essentially the dice placement rules. Like I mentioned before, once you place a die, it is locked into that location. If at any point I'm going to roll at the beginning of the timer and then those dice faces are locked, and once I place them down, they're locked. If I want to reroll, I have to give up a die. Then I can reroll either all my purples or all my grays. And that's pretty much it. If at any point I have placed out all my dice, I can end the timer. But if the timer goes off and I have not placed dice, those dice are not used. And that's going to actually happen quite often. There's going to be situations where I just can't fit them anywhere. I know I could put, say, 2 blues down here, but unless I have 4, I'm not completing this section. At the end of the round, any areas that you have completed, and you'll look at the cards first, then you'll look at, say, recharging stations, then you'll look at patience. So you'll go and say, okay, I completed this card and this card. You'll move them over here. Or say you did not complete this card, it goes over here into your lose column. Then you'll remove any blue cards that you completed. Then you'll look at recharging stations. Oh, did I fill out 1, 2, all 3 slots at the top? If so, I get this cube. I immediately put it back into my slot here. Then you'll look at patience, and anybody that you filled up the entire row. So for example, this one here is going to be quite a challenge. It's basically, 5 dice covering almost every single color. If I have done that, then I can take one of these blue curved pieces here and cover it up. Once I have covered up an entire patient, then I will look down. That's when I look down and see what reward or penalty I'm gaining for completing that patient. In this example, every player at the table would get an additional die to roll next round. Here, I get to place one of these for free anywhere I want. Here, a single player, so I would get to roll 1 additional die. Here, I get to remove any blue card of my choice. Here, a single player has to lose a die. Here, I'd have to take 1 off. So again, paying attention to where this dial is set at the beginning of each round. And this blue one, this blue diamond, always points to the first slot on a tray. Makes a difference. You really don't ever, you are in control. So you should never complete a patient if it's on a negative one. But that's pretty much it. We mark off all our patients. If one is completed, we remove it and bring out a new one. And like I said, we have to heal 6 total patients within these 7+ rounds in order to win the game. You retrieve all your dice. So again, if you don't complete a row, they don't just stay there out there to make it completing easier next time. You bring them all back. So any halfway attempts are completely lost and you bring the dice back. Okay, so just a quick recap before things get crazy here. Definitely going after these 3, although they're not my first priority because they're pretty simple to complete. Look at the patients, and then probably try and take care of some of those cards. I really don't like this one, so we'll probably go after that one. This one's also pretty nasty as well. So let's go ahead and get started. All right. A little violent there. Okay, so let's see, what do we need up there? An orange, a yellow, and a pink, and 2 greens. Okay, so I've kind of set those aside. Those can be used up there. I do need a lot of blues down here, and I've got a fair amount of blues here. So when I put those down, I can maybe put these down. Then, but I can't do that yet. I need to wait. Hold on. So I'm not going to be able to take care of that one because I need to do something like that. Then I can put any 3 down there. It doesn't matter. This I could use here. So yeah, let's go ahead and cover that up because that's the same person. Any 3 here. Boom. Oh no. Wasn't paying attention. Thought I had a few more seconds. All right. So unfortunately, I didn't place the dice down. I did get the important stuff down, and I got this stuff down. So now you can see according to our go through here, we address our cards first. So I addressed both of these cards. I will gain both of these as a benefit. Now, you slot it in here so you can ignore the thing. But now that I've officially slotted this in, I am going to use this card. So I'll just discard it to take this one out. That way I don't lose the progress because I made pretty decent progress here. All right, I did not do any recharging stations. That's fine. And then I can simply, any of these that I completed fully, get covered up. Okay, I get all my dice back. And then we move on to the next round. You can see here, the next steps were to look at recharging stations, then patience, and then the last thing is to spin the wheel. So we spin this, tick, 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 and we moved from the blue diamond being here to the blue diamond being there. All right, start next turn. Remove a power cube, goes off to the side, and this round I'm only drawing 2 cards, which is very helpful. So let's get these out of the way for now. First card is here. So this would mean everybody would lose a die for the upcoming round. I need any 4 dice. Again, you're filling in from every empty space from left to right. And then if we fill in all 6, we'll have to create a second round. And then here is no patient card triggers with a green light may be activated this round. So this would mean if I rolled a 6 and then I say completed this patient, I would not gain the benefit of getting to put down a free curved piece. So let's see. I'm basically going to have to deal with any of these here. And there it is. 2 and a 6. So unfortunately, that 2 card has really burned me twice now. So we'll put you up here. All right. So now what I'm maybe focusing on here is these 2 recharging stations. I don't have any stat cards I need to deal with. And then maybe as many of these cards as possible. If for some reason I were to ever roll doubles, say 2 6s, it's not like I can ignore, I'm already ignoring any green things. Or if I rolled 2 2s, I would only still remove 1 cube. Essentially the double dice roll is just ignored. But if I start stacking cards up and create a second row, I have to deal with both of those cards. So my focus for this round is definitely going to be going after 2 recharging stations so I can get 2 cubes back in and getting rid of some of those cards up there. All right. So let me get my dice ready in hand here and start the countdown. All right. So boom, boom, boom. That can go right here. And over here, I need a white, red, and a yellow. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and put these down. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, definitely want to get rid of that one if possible. Blue and orange. That one's gone. This one's also creating havoc for me, but I don't have an orange. I do have a yellow and a pink, so I can stick this over here and re-roll both of these, hoping for an orange. No. Okay. Let me see. Let's go ahead and complete that guy there. I can move these like... I can do this. Let's get rid of that. And... can I put these anywhere? No. Couldn't really find a spot for the... Oh, I should have put this right there. Those 2 are just lost. Okay. So, activate cards first. We can move this now because I'm not completing anybody. So these two are just simply removed, clearing out space for this next round. All right, so we did that. Then we look at this. So we completed both of these recharging stations. So boom and boom, getting back to a good spot. And we completed this one patient row here. There we go. And I get this back. So last thing, move the dial, tick, 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 tick. All right, now we're ready for our next turn. Remove this. We actually get our round of only, another round of only putting 2 cards out. So we've got this guy here, any 2 dice, and turn the thing 1 space. That one's really not bad. That doesn't usually bother me. All right, 2 and 3. Again, I really need to get rid of that 2 card. And one person is going to lose 2 dice, so it doesn't matter. We'll just say purple loses 2, and this, again, is pulled off here. So, again, I need to go after the 2 recharging stations. Doing this, you know, is keeping the game from ending sooner, but it's also, I'm spending a lot of dice on these 2 areas here. So, to each his own. So, I have pulled the die, I've added cards, I've rolled this out, I've planned. Let me get my dice ready here. And start the countdown. All right. We definitely want to get at least one of these. I can't do that one. I can do this one up here. Okay. Can we get rid of that one? Boom, boom, and boom. Yes. Let's just get rid of that card for once. Can I put any more else out here? 2 greens and a bunch of oranges. Pink, and green. But that's all got to come from one player. Yep, that's not going to work. Can't put it there. 20 seconds left. Can't put it there. I have no oranges. Green, and white. So I can put this up here. Boom, boom, boom. 2 whites. Anywhere there's 2 whites. Boom. Good. Okay. Resolving cards. These 2 go away. Finally. Watch, I'll never roll a 2 the rest of the game. All right. Resolve these. I did this one, so I get this back. Unfortunately, I lost my 2s. And I did this area here. Okay. Now I get my 2 dice back because that power was only active for 1 round. I forgot I did have this over here where I can change any 1 die to any side. Maybe I could have used that there at the end, but it's fine. Spin the dial. Next turn. All right, remove a cube. So now we're drawing 3 cards. Let's draw those 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we're back to having stat cards to deal with, but essentially it's just 5 dice. So my last 5 dice have got to go over there. Let's roll these 2 dice out. I would love double 3s right now. There's that 2 again. So I lied. What's this one say? Any patient card triggers that have a red light and are currently connected to the life support dial activate immediately. Luckily, I don't have any. That really would only have been these 2, but they're not connected to the thing here. So that has no effect. But this one means everybody at the table loses a die. So I have to take a gray and a red out. So that's a pretty nasty card. Okay, we've already kind of discussed. Let me get my dice ready. And let's see. It would be great to complete this guy right now. It would also be great to do this. If I complete this guy, I'm not getting any benefit. Same with this guy. This guy I think is pretty far away. And the last 5 dice need to go right there. So let's go. Okay. Boom. And a green and an orange. Okay. Those 3 right there. Who else can I complete here? Boom, boom, boom. We can go up here to you. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom. Boom. Right, because hold on. Sorry, I didn't mean to let go of them. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. And we're done. That was actually pretty fast. All right. So, end countdown. And now, yes. All right, resolve cards. We took care of these. Ignore the emergency dice. Before or after the emergency dice are rolled, so that's a nice one. And ignore 1 emergency dice. So those are both excellent cards to have. I didn't take care of any of those. I do get this here. All right, I completed this one. Tick. And this one. Tick. I get these 2 dice back. And we spin this. Okay. There we go. Ooh, I'm not losing any dice around my corner here, am I? Okay. All right, start next turn. Remove the power cube, 3 cards. So this one fills in here, then we're probably gonna be starting a second row. Yep, so this one's gonna have to go up here. I'm just gonna do that for now. And the third one, this one will also go up here. So I'll move those. That way you guys can see them, see what I have to do. If I activate them, I may use one of my cards over here. So let's see what we're dealing with. 1 and 2. So you know what? This is a great time to play this event card. Ignore the emergency dice. That's both of them. We're going to ignore them for this round because that will be a lot of stuff happening. All right, so we did this. We did that. We communicated. So I'd love to take out some of those cards up here. I'm not gaining a huge ton of benefit in completing any of these guys. Maybe I could try and complete this one because I am running out of turns here, essentially. So maybe we'll do that. Let's focus on this guy and those cards up there. I actually have all my dice this round. So let's get them all going and start the countdown. All right, so what do we need up here? A single purple and then 2 pinks from, okay. So we can do this and this. That was a pink. 1, 2, 3 oranges and a green. Okay. Boom. And then I don't have any blues. I do have a white. So what I'm going to do here is spend this. I get to reroll whatever I want. So I'll protect these. There we go. There's 2 blues. And then a different person. So I'm going to spend this card here. That will allow me to flip this to a white. So I've completed that patient. And then here, this can be any 2. And I really have no place to stick a single white die. All right. So, pretty good round, I'd say. Let's start with the cards. Unfortunately, did not clear these cards, but that's fine. All right, no other cards to clear. Let's move over here. We can get this back. And I basically completed this entire board, so I'm not going to bother covering them all up because now I get to pull this off, and one player is going to get 1 die. So let's just give it to the purple guy. This one comes off. I can throw it back in the box. And the next one from the stack comes out. So there we go. All right. Last thing is turn the dial. Tick, 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 tick. So this would be a great time to focus on this one right here. And say, for example, I had one already here. Say I had all 3 of these filled up, and I completed this one, which is giving me the bonus of placing a tile down anywhere I want. I could then take this bonus tile and place it here and complete this card as well. I wouldn't want to do that this round because then I have to take a tile off of somebody else's thing, but you can activate the patient powers in any order you choose. So just keep that in mind. All right, So we tick that around, start new turn. All right, we're drawing 4 cards this round. This is going to be pretty rough. It's going to get very crowded up here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right. If at any point that stack runs out, I simply shuffle the discard pile and bring it back in. All right, so lots of chances for doubles here. We did that. We need to roll these dice out. Come on, high numbers. 2 and a 3. I literally think I have rolled a 2 every single round. Okay. Are any of these powers really nasty? Remove a green card or any patient card triggers that have red light. Ooh. So what I'm going to do here is go ahead and use this card because I'm about to lose it anyway. So it's a use it or lose it scenario. So I'm going to use this card and I'm going to ignore the 2 die. So I can ignore both of these cards. I do have to activate the 3, and you always start with the bottom one and then move up. So I would have to remove a green card. I just got rid of them. Then this last one is replace this card with the top card in the deck and activate it. Discard this card. Okay. So this one says place a lockdown tile on the reroll track. So as we discussed earlier, I will not be allowed to do any re-rolling this round. Okay. So I did give myself an extra purple die last round. I have to take that back. Let's discuss what we want to do. Obviously, this guy is a really good thing. I have 1 recharge station left, but I'm going to wait until maybe next or the second to last round, so I'm not doing 4 cards again. And I have to focus on my patients because I still have 1 more here who hasn't even been brought into the medical bay yet, and I only have 3 rounds left. So definitely have to focus on the patients. We're just going to have to deal with suffering those consequences every round. So that is our plan. Let's mix these up real nice. Start countdown. Okay, let's reroll that. All right, 4 blues, all from different people. Okay. All right. Definitely need a blue. So I will. Oh, I can't re-roll. I have no re-rolls. Oh no. Okay, so blue, orange, green. Definitely needed to take care of that. That's actually giving me a power up there, so that's really nice. Man, I can't really stick these anywhere. 2 greens and a pink. Oh my gosh. 4 here, 3 here. Oh, that was an awful round on my part. I did not make any advancements on my patience. I really kind of freaked out right there under the pressure. So I did get rid of some of these. I'm just gonna start shuffling these off to the side here. I got rid of this guy, which is a great thing. It's gonna give me a recharge opportunity. Okay, so I took care of all the cards. I didn't do any of this stuff. So the only thing left to do is to spin this dial here. All right, now would be another great round to do this. Maybe even that one, this one, any of them really. They're all set to positive numbers here. So let's start the next turn. Remove the power cube. All right, pulling out 3 cards. So here's number 1. You go there. Number 2, orange card here. And 3. 1 right there. All right, roll these out. So did that. We're doing this. I get to take this off. 6s, perfect. Finally, something went my way. So again, that it does hurt a little bit because I really liked the lineup there, but this now is super awesome. So I can actually ignore trying to get 4 blues and just do this guy. Actually, if we focus on this guy and then 2 of these, I can cover up this one and then cover up this. I can actually sweep 3 guys all in one round. So I think that's definitely what we're going to do. We have this in the bag here. Hopefully we don't get knocked with that card. Maybe we should go ahead and use this. Well, I can wait. I can wait and see what these dice are rolled. All right, 1 and 3, yes. So we're definitely going to use this. We'll discard this, and I get to put a power cube back in. All right, number 1 is adding 3 cards, essentially. So what happens is you go boom. Whoop, no, this comes over here now. 1, 2, uh-oh. 3, oh my. Look at this. Changes my whole strategy now. 1, 2, 3. Then over here, you lose a green card. I got rid of it. And place a lockdown tile on the reroll track. Goodness gracious. All right, so definitely need to get rid of these. Yeah, but I have some space over here. I haven't taken any orange cards yet. Like I said before, completing this one and 2 of these is the key to sweeping all 3 of these. So that's what we're gonna focus on here. Shake these up, start to count down. All right, I need a purple and an orange from 1 player. Now 1 player, I need green, then another green, and then a yellow. Oh, I don't have it. Okay. Green, green, and pink. No, I'm not gonna be able to do that. Blue, orange, and white. I can do that. Oh, I only need to do 2 of these. So there. Blue and a green. Green and a blue. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Not what I had wanted, but we're all done now. Okay. So I did complete all of these. Boom, boom, boom. So I've got lots of bonuses that I can trigger here soon. And let's just, we're maybe gonna use some of these here in a second. See if I can tuck these under. Properly ignore a card, ignore an emergency dice. Everybody gets a free single die reroll. Or no, everybody gets 1 free reroll. I think it's as many dice as you want. And no triggering with a red thing are activated. So, moving back over here. Boom. Boom. Okay. All right, did that. Gonna do this right now. Spin, spin, spin. All right. Again, this is not a round to complete patience, unfortunately, but I'm like running out of time here. So, all right, next round. Start next turn. Remove a cube. Draw 3 cards. 1. Ooh, this is a really nice one to have. 2. 3. All right. Did this. Doing this. Get to remove this. Double 6s again. Nice. Okay, so that's actually somewhat helpful. Oh, turn the thing 1 space. So tick, tick, tick. No, that's not right. Because that means nothing's lined up there. I think it's this. I think that's supposed to be 1 full space. No, maybe it is just 1 space. I mean, this is just poking out into nothingness now. But again, dealing with the patience right now is not the best thing. I definitely want this card, and I guess clearing some of those or getting as many patience down to just 1 thing left so we can do a whole sweeping activation again. So focusing probably on this guy and this one right here. Those are up there, double 6s. Let me get my dice ready. Shake them up. All right, so I need a pink, green, and a pink from 1 person here. No pinks. Okay. Let's see. Pink and a green. We can do this. Pink and a blue. We can do this. White and a yellow. We can do this. Orange and a yellow. Ooh, hold on. I need to make sure I can do this here. Orange and a yellow. Anybody can... Okay. It's fine. Probably could have slapped this down at the last minute. Got rid of this one. So this just slides down. Got rid of both of these. Now, I don't have any of this stuff, so what I get to do is actually like use some of these if I want them. So I can spend this one here to, let's see, get rid of you. Okay, this slides down. I should have just gone ahead and used a reroll. Okay, now this says ignore red trigger effects or activate. Yeah, I don't need this one as much. So we'll just lose that one. We will put these down here and here. Okay. All right, so those are all set. Did not do any of this, but I did put cleared the top 3 here. So 1, 2, 3. Start next turn. I gotta turn this. All right. So, this is a good round for that, but not for either of these guys, and this guy's kind of a dud. But this is our last round until so we definitely have to focus on this. We're only adding 2 cards to the station here. So we go here first, then here. All right, boom, roll these dice out. 4s, so what are the 4s? No, definitely have to ignore this. Yeah, so ignore the emergency dice this round. Okay, so these go off to the side because that would have ended our game. Let's discuss. This is crucial, and then obviously clearing out somebody. Somebody's got to get cleared out, so it might as well probably be this guy or this guy. So let's start the countdown here. No blues, not a single blue. So I'm going to spend this where everybody gets a full reroll. All right, there's some blues. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Boom. Then up here, we need a green, we need another blue, and an orange. Okay, so I've got more pink dice. So let's re-roll the pink dice. There's my blue. Then up here, let's see. Not going to be doing that. Not going to be doing that. 12 seconds, 3 dice that are all the same. Nope, that's not going to happen. Let's see, 2 yellows. Any 3 dice. I really have no place to put this guy. All right, so let's see here. These 2 back off to the side. Cleared these 2 cards just because they were easy reach. All right, no other cards like that. I cleared this guy off completely. That's the only one. I cleared this one off, so I get to put this here. Get to last one more round. All right. Then this guy's going to give me 1 I can put anywhere. So we're going to put this guy right here. I think we're going to lose. Just in general here, because unless this is a super easy tile, which it's not, yeah, it's going to be really rough to get all of this completed in the next round. So let's just take a look at what's going to happen here. This one's a great one to complete. Everything else really doesn't matter. So I've got this, and if I can complete this, I've got 2. So that would be 1, 2. Really just need to focus on, so then I need to fill 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things with only but so many dice. All right, so pull this off. 2 more cards. This doesn't matter. This goes up here. Let's see what we got. 6 and 2. Oh no. Oh, that's not too bad. Okay. Might as well use this where I can ignore 1 die. So we're going to ignore this one. And then this rotates here like this. So this guy now becomes my focus for the round. So that wasn't too bad. I can use this at the end of the round to figure out where I need to put it. No more recharging stations left. I can simply ignore that because it's not going to affect the end game. This is the last round. So start the next turn. We went through all this. Start the countdown. Okay. I need pinks and greens. Oh, I don't have any greens. Okay. Let me spend a die here to re-roll all of my grays. There's a green. Okay, so this guy's complete. Boom. Who else do I have here? Green, a green, and a... Nope, not getting that guy. Orange and a yellow from the same guy. Boom. Either a blue or a yellow from either side. Here. Boom. I just don't think it's gonna happen. One person. Nope. Can't do that. Can't do that. A blue, orange. Nope. Can't do that. Can't do that. So I'm literally stuck. All right. Well, we got close. So in going through all this stuff, essentially we would get to clear this patient out. Adding a blue card right now at this stage of the game doesn't matter. I would get to remove this patient. I can do this guy here. Removing this patient would allow me to add 1 more green disc. So I could say add it here. That would remove this patient. So you can see I got close. I didn't do so bad. And I can even spend this card here to gain 1 back and cover up here. But I am 1, 2, 3 things away from winning the game. Basically, at the beginning of this next round, I would remove this die and lose the game. So there is that. Like I said, it's not a super easy game to play, but I have been victorious. Definitely plays longer than Fuse. Fuse is a 10-minute game because that's a 10-minute timer. This one lasts a little longer depending on how long you think in between your turns, but the minute timer for each round definitely keeps the game going quickly. You know, there's just a lot of good things about this game. I wish there was more ways to mitigate the dice, but that maybe would make it too easy. You know, you've got these cards, and so there are ways to mitigate the dice, and there is a reroll track. So, but yeah, it's one of those things where inevitably you're going to get a full rack of blue cards because you can't take care of those every round because you got to take care of your patients. And like you see, if you ignore the patients, you get to the end of the round and you just don't have the dice to do it. So there you go. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.